Hello everyone, welcome back to an episode of Just Say Guay. I'm your host, George Guay as usual. I'm joined by men's soccer captain, Tiago Mendonca. Tiago, thanks for coming on.
Welcome.
Alright, so I have a lot of people who watch back home, may not know who you are, so can you just introduce yourself?
So I'm Tiago Mendonca. I'm from Portugal, Faro. I'm number 8, Providence College soccer team. I play in the midfield, and I'm 23 years old.
Yeah, so you're obviously one of the older guys in the locker room, and each season comes with new challenges. So what were you trying to improve on this off-season?
The off season normally we try to relax more. Of course, we have to be in shape, so I try to just do runs and do early morning lifts just to keep in shape. But basically just runs, just to keep my shape.
Yeah. You got to run to play soccer. So you are one of the captains this year. Congratulations on that. Well deserved. You're joined with Joao also, who's going to come on later. How does it feel to be a captain?
It's a great honor. Appreciate it that coaches put that trust on me. Just trying to do my best to help the team, and hopefully everyone can put their trust on me, and I'll do my best to help them.
Yeah, it's definitely gotten off to a good start so far. So obviously, a couple of years ago, you guys went on an amazing run in the tournament, knocked off Maryland, who never lost all season, in their place. Down 4-1, was it?
Yeah, 4-1.
Last year, unfortunately, didn't qualify for the tournament. So, with each season, one being more successful than the other, does the motivation to do well stay the same?
The motivation this year is higher than it was for sure, because our goal is to get into NCAA every year, and last year we didn't. So this year we do have more to prove, and we want to make sure that everyone knows who we are, and we're here to play for sure.
Yeah. So soccer's obviously the biggest world game of them all, way bigger than hockey or baseball. There are 8 players in your team that aren't from the United States. So, typically the recruiting process for a lot of people, they go on the trips, make their decisions, maybe attend a couple games or watch a practice. What was your process like that was very different from others?
Coach John Marnick and Coach David DeMello were in Portugal at the time, and they knew a friend of mine that contacted me to see if I want to play at Providence College, and they actually came to one of my practices. They talked to me right after, and it was an opportunity that I couldn't say no to. And after we had the process done, I said yes. I came here, and I'm very glad that I did, because it's an opportunity of a lifetime.
Yeah, it's definitely worked out so far. So over the last few years, this team has definitely lost a huge piece each year. Lose Julian Gressel one year, one of the most successful players that's ever come to this program, really doing well in the MLS. Year after that, you lose Max Steves, one of the top goal scorers the school's ever seen. And last year, you lose Colin Miller to the pros. He's playing for Loudoun United. So how do you guys prepare for that, next man up mentality? Because it seems like every year you've had to do it.
Yeah, no, we do. We like to think ourselves as a family here, and we're always ready to play for each other, to support each other, and when we do lose big pieces like that, everyone comes together and we fight for each other, and we try to help as much as we can each other to do better on the field and off the field.
Okay, so how far do you think the program has come? I mean, you've definitely seen it all, more than others, especially you and Joao. You're freshmen, you guys are playing on the small field. Up at Hendricken Field. Now you guys have great crowds at a beautiful stadium, and the program's gotten a lot better. What's it been like to be a part of this great transformation that not many guys can say they were a part of?
Yeah, it's amazing. I remember still playing the field of campus. It was not a good field, let's say that. And to play now at Chappie Field, Anderson Stadium, it's a great honor. Fans are wild. They come support us every game. And it's really great to be part of such a good program as the men's soccer team.
Yeah, and it's very good for the fans as well. Yeah. So, what's the hardest part of being a student athlete? Tonight, we're doing this interview. Tomorrow, you got to go to class, and before you know it, you're on the road going to Albany for a game.
So the hardest part is definitely the balance between the student and the athlete life. Like you said, we have to go to class and then we have to travel. We have to do the work every time, and when we are on the road, we try to balance it. So when you're on the road, we try to do our work and then go to class after with our work done.
definitely a process that only people who are a part of it that really understand. You know, someone who's just a regular student can't really take that in. So, 2 questions. One about one of your games recently, and an off-field question. What's your favorite place to play in the Big East? Like to go on the road?
Besides Anderson Stadium, it's great for sure. It's a big stadium, great fans. They normally have an audience from 5,000 to 10,000 people every time, and every time we go there, it's great atmosphere. I love it.
Yeah, that's what Colin Miller said in one of the interviews. He said it's the hardest though because
It is very hard.
they have fans on both sides.
Yeah.
We don't have that. But so, take me back to the first game. Could you have asked for a better start to the season? 21 seconds in, crossing in the net, and you guys get a goal.
Yeah, it was amazing. 4-0 that game we won, and we couldn't ask for nothing better. Now we're just trying to grind up and do better each game, trying to get our wins, and hopefully we can go to NCAA again.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I appreciate you for coming on. Best of luck against Albany.
Thank you so much.
All right, I'm going to bring on Joao Serrano, one of Tiago's teammates and another men's soccer captain. What's going on, Joao?
How you doing?
All right, thanks for coming on. This is the first time we've had 2 guests, so I appreciate it. Tiago did the same thing first. Would you like to introduce yourself for the people who don't know who you are?
So my name is Joao. I'm a senior from Portugal. This is my 4th season playing for the team. I've played left back, center back, holding midfielder, and basically anywhere in the field, whatever coach wants me to. And I've been a captain for 2 years now.
So you mentioned that. Congratulations on being a captain again.
Thank you.
So after being a captain as a junior, this is your second time around, like you said. What are you taking from last season that'll help you this year as being a captain?
Yeah, definitely learned a lot of lessons in my first year as a captain, especially having the chance to co-captain a team with Brendan Constantine and Colin Miller, 2 great leaders, 2 great people, and a lot of lessons that I learned from those guys, attention to detail, making sure the group is going the same direction all the time. So definitely an important year, building year for me, my junior year, getting to learn from those guys, and hopefully take some of those lessons with me and pass those messages to the younger kids now, and definitely feel like less scrambling because I'm just like more aware of the situations and more of the impact that I can have on the team. So definitely a year that helped me a lot to be the captain last year as a junior and into my transition as a senior now.
Yeah, so you mentioned some of those great players, Colin, Brendan, Steve. Obviously when those guys leave, another group of freshmen to come in and try and fill their roles the best that they can. So what can we expect from the freshmen this year? I know one of them starting so far.
Yeah, it's tough when those guys leave because all those guys that you mentioned had such a big impact on the program, NCAA appearances and stuff. But I feel like the freshmen this year, especially alongside some of the transfers that we got, we have Austin and Trevor, both players with NCAA experience. So hopefully those guys can help us a long way in our season. And so far we have Esmond playing a lot of minutes. We have Gage playing. Lucas is coming back from an injury, and hopefully some of the other freshmen will be able to have an impact on our season as well. So we definitely count on everyone 1 through 25, and it's always helpful to have a good balance within the team between seniors and freshmen. So I'm sure those guys will play a role in this season as well.
Yeah, they definitely have done a good job so far. So for someone who's from Portugal like Tiago, like I said earlier in the interview, there's 8 players coming from the United States. What's the summer like here for you when you're here most of the time, as opposed to going back home, or like a teammate who's from Rhode Island who can go back and forth? Like you're here full time.
Yeah. So the summer is obviously a lot of work. We take classes, especially at night, because we have summer classes, and mostly our training schedule is based on three lifts with Coach White, 2 in the gym early mornings, just grind it out, and Friday morning lift, kind of like a turf workout. We just do agility drills, a lot of running and stuff, and then we have 3 workouts on our own that basically on the field, so the captains run the sessions based on what the coaches want for the sessions. So we just, with the ball, just a lot of playing, a lot of touches on the ball, just making sure the team is getting well together and getting to know each other, getting to know each other's tendencies, even before the coaches step on the field. So we really start to connect and building those connections within the team.
Yeah, it's very important to have team chemistry. So, there's obviously a lot of good things about playing here. What's the thing that you love the most?
Definitely playing at Anderson Stadium. It's the best. We've seen it, the game against UMass Lowell, home opener. We had a lot of people watching. The crowd was buzzing. So it doesn't get much better than that. And even taking it back 2 years ago, I know you, Tiago, were talking about it. Just game against Creighton here, Big East semifinals, or the game against Delaware in the NCAA tournament. Just unbelievable experience to have the Anderson Stadium so crowded, and it's such a huge honor to play in an incredible stadium.
Yeah, absolutely. So with a great stadium, there's also been a lot of great players that have walked on it. Julian Gressel's playing with Atlanta United. Max Steves was with the MLS for a bit, now he's with Hartford. And Collins in the same league with Loden. What's it like to see how well they're doing and to know? Like, I was with those guys not too long ago.
Yeah, it definitely gives us a lot of confidence because I've seen how Julian works, I've seen how Mac, Colin, how those guys grind it out every day, just show up to every day like it's a game day, like the motto that we have here, and definitely gives us confidence. If those guys can do it, we can do it as well. And also, like, such great guys that they were, and in these programs since Coach Craig has been here, it's all been about legacy, about the next man up mentality, and those guys as leaders just build that culture within the team where you're not just working for yourself, but you're working for your teammates, and to make your teammates believe that they can be the next man up, that they're ready for it, and they work to prepare you as well. So it's great that those guys, especially Julian, how successful he has been, definitely gives me and some of our players like Tiago and Danny confidence that we can do the same thing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, there's been a lot of transitions over the last few years. Guys going different places, different kinds of seasons. The one person you mentioned who's been here the whole time is Coach Stewart. Especially at a school like Providence, where the most known coaches are probably Coach Lehman and Coach Cooley. Describe the impact that he's had on you guys and you as a player and on the program.
Yeah, he's been an unbelievable coach for me. Like, since the first time that I stepped foot on this campus, he always believed in me. He was always up front with me, straight up with me about my role in the team, the expectations he had for me and for the team. And since I've been one of the captains basically since the spring of my sophomore year, so obviously he was always a big believer in me, and he's always had a big impact in my life. And also in the program, he was kind of like the guy that started implementing the legacy mentality, and it came from guys like coaching guys like Phil Towler, like Mark Jesuits, Julian Gressel, Mac, Dom, into guys like Colin, Brandon, Steven, to guys like me, Tiago, Danny, and hopefully the guys that come after us. And this whole mentality, this whole culture that he has created has been really important for how successful the team has been over the past few years while he has been as a coach.
Yeah, so once again, being a captain again this year. I'm a PC fan, not really into soccer too much, but hey, I'm going to give it a look. The stadium looks really nice. Players play really hard. What should I expect from the team for someone who's just coming in trying to see what it's like?
Yeah, you should definitely expect a team with a lot of chemistry, guys that really get along, a team that is very hardworking, blue collar, and not afraid of a fight. Like, we always stand up for a good fight. We protect our field, we protect ourselves, protect the program, protect our team, and obviously a team that works really hard not only on the field but always off the field as well during the summer. So when we step on that field, we want to represent the program as proudly as we can. So definitely you can see a team with a lot of passion, and also a team that can play good soccer and have really good moments to get the crowd going at times as well. So if you PC fan, for any PC fans out there, just always try to stop by, give us a look, and I'm sure they won't regret it.
Yeah, so 2 for 2 on the same answer. What's your favorite place to play when you're on the road? You're going on the road to Albany tomorrow. I'm sure there's a bunch of different places you've been. You're not from the United States, so a lot of things are new. Do you have a favorite place to play?
Yeah, I love playing at the Anderson Stadium, like I mentioned. It's my favorite place by far. But I would have to, I think the stadium that stands out the most for me is Creighton, like Tiago said.
3 for 3.
Yeah, very crowded place, and it's like very soccer-oriented people, and it's also a good team that we played against, a good matchup, so always a good game. And I would say Wake Forest. It's also a really good place to play. The crowd gets really going, and also a very good team.
Yeah.
Very soccer-oriented program. So like, yeah, it's definitely a really good place to play as well.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate Joao and Tiago for coming on. I wish you the best of luck against Albany.
Yeah.
That's it for another episode of Just Say Guay. We'll see you next time.